Yes, sir.
There's going to be 19 of these out on the circuit, and the sound they're going to make will be a reminder of the old halcyon days of Can-Am back in 66 to 74.
Let it rip. Always wanted to get on the Long Beach Grand Prix circuit, and I get to drive in a very famous car. It's a Can-Am car. It was raced by the late Peter Revson. The car was sponsored by Carroll Shelby. So here I am at my age, getting a real big thrill. Drive out here with all these professional drivers coming here to Long Beach Grand Prix. What could you ask for?
Welcome, Can-Am!
Hang out the stars in Indiana, up in the sky of midnight blue. Hang out the stars in Indiana to light my way back home to you. Have every robin sing a love song, a melody just meant for two. For in my heart there'll be a love song, a song I long to sing to you. How could I find the things I sought for? No wonder they were all denied. The very happiness I fought for was right there by your side.
I think everybody's got the right attitude. It's just going to be a fun show.
So wait for me in Indiana, and when the long, long day is through, hang out the stars in Indiana to light my way back home to you.
John Collins was a good friend of mine, and he had this car over at his shop, and he had just a tub. And one day Joe came back and said he decided to buy it and wanted to know if I'd put it all back together. So Joe bought the car and brought it over here. A lot of the suspension parts I made, and a lot of the suspension parts John Collins made. John and I worked on it together, and then we took it over to Collins's shop, and then he fitted the body and stuff on it. This car is made different than most M6Bs. In the left rear fender, it has a place with a hole cut in the fender where the air from the oil cooler can come in and come out of it. This is probably the only car like that. And on the suspension, on the crossover link and back, there's 3 different positions for that link to fit onto. Phil Remington tried 3 different places, but they ended up using the traditional place because the other ones didn't seem to work right. But it has all the holes cut in it and everything for that. And took a year and a half, or no, a year and 3 months to get it all back together.
Start spreading the news. I'm leaving today. I want to be part of it. New York, New York.
And it's great. This is the first time Can-Am cars have ever run on a temporary circuit, ever. All these cars are authentic cars with documented history, verified history. They're all liveried the way the cars ran in period. We've got cars from 66 to 74. Great group of cars.
I did the track walk, and luckily halfway through the track walk, some guy came around on a motor scooter and offered me a ride. He probably said, boy, this guy needs it. And so I didn't have to walk the other half. That worked out pretty good.
It's going to be a beautiful day. Can't wait to start these cars, get the engines roaring. It's going to be great.
I'm just waiting. That's the hard part, sitting around here just waiting for it to start. And we'll go down, warm it up, and hopefully everything's all right.
The line's gonna go that way.
When the Can-Am cars come out in a few, the cars are going to go this way behind the pace car and go do whatever they do, go around this thing. But the crews are going to go this way because the Indy cars are set up, they can't get behind, so they're going to end up having to be out this side of the wall.
Turn the radio on.
Okay, it's on.
Halfway or whatever.
Halfway. Great cars and great drivers, and we're going to have a lot of fun.
This is going to be good.
Let's rock and roll.
They must have stopped for a cappuccino.
What happened, Bruce?
Flat tire.
Damn it!
What happened though? Flat tire. Both tires were flat. Don't ask me why.
Oh, okay. Got any more?
He's just going so fast, sucked the air right out of him.
We're visiting right now with Joseph DiLoretto, who is a retired judge.
A retired judge right here in Long Beach.
I don't recognize you, so that's a good thing.
I don't recognize you either. Oh, it is a good thing.
Tell me about the car you're driving.
I'm driving a 1968 M6B McLaren. It was driven by Peter Repson. It was run by Carol Shelby, who owned the team. Sponsored by Ford, only big block Ford in the race. And we've had it now for about 18 years, and now we get to race it in Long Beach Grand Prix. When I was a judge, I used to see all the big rigs coming in, thinking, oh my God, if I could only do it someday. Here I am, 19 years later, I get to race in the Long Beach Grand Prix.
How cool. That is cool. Now you're just excited about this whole deal.
Oh yeah, when I got the word from Chris about they're going to let me drive my car, I thought, oh my God, where do I sign?
Have you had any other racing experience?
Oh, I've been racing for 40 years.
Yeah, what else have you raced?
I raced Ferrari, and I have a couple of Cobras, and Alfa, Lola, this McLaren. So I've been crazy for a lot of years.
Tell me about these things. Are they a handful to drive?
They are a handful to drive. No power steering, no power brakes, no automatic shifting. You know, it's all manual. That's when you had to have, you know, you had to be a tough guy.
Are you going to be a judge on the racetrack?
Listen, if anybody passed me, I'm going to hold them in contempt.
Good luck to you, sir.
Thank you. My pleasure.
All right.
Phil, do 7/16 and take these nuts off here. And it's been sitting around, I tightened them up, and I want to make sure they're snug.
So here I am today driving a 1968 M6B McLaren, very famous car. The team owner was Carol Shelby, driven by Peter Repson, and always qualified well, but had some motor problems. But the last race of the year was Mount Fuji, Japan, and Peter Repson won that race, so the car has one major victory. I've owned the car since about 2002. We got it after the car was in a major fire. John Collins, who actually was the mechanic on the race car when Carol Shelby was running it, he rebuilt the chassis on it, and it was sitting on four wheels, and that was it. So my mechanic, Bob Habermill, who's been my mechanic for 37 years now, we spent 2 years and finally rebuilt the car as close as we could to original, including the right motor.
We ended up building a motor for it, and that took quite a while because I had to build an engine plate. Nobody has an engine plate for an FE 427 Ford motor. So I had to build that, cut it out, put it back and forth, put the motor in, and do all kinds of stuff. Finally, we got that set. Then we had a guy come and build the headers for the car, right in the car. And we had the transmission. And then we had to get all of that hooked up. And then we decided to go ahead and we got the body. We fitted the body all on it, got all of that done. And then after that, then we took the motor out, finished it all up, took it over to Shelby's, and dynoed the motor with all the injection, everything we had, and it dynoed at 725 horsepower. It was 600 pounds of torque. We were surprised because all the injection, I had most of it handmade. I used a Weber manifold, and then I had to have different things built on that manifold to make it all work. We shipped the manifold and everything back to Kinsler and had them flow it And I asked them how it worked out, and they said, well, you put everything in the right spots, it works pretty good. So they finished up, sent it to us, we put it on the motor, then we took it to the dyno, and then we ran it, and it ran perfect. So we're all happy.
All ready. Hi everyone. Getting ready to start.
So from a driver's perspective, all I can say about Can-Am is it's pretty cool to see some history here at Long Beach.
out of San Marcos, the 67 McLaren, trying to get by the 75.
still magnificent, even at this age.
Brought it home, not a scratch. Pretty good, huh?
Looked like a good weekend. We can roll it right on the trailer.
Good to go, man. Shut them down. We're all going to sleep. It was history that these guys made history by being at Jim McKay's event, and I'm proud of all of them. They did a good job. It was a fun race to watch, and I know whatever the news clips are going to be spectacular. I know the fans loved it. It was really good. I'm glad we pulled it off.
As a kid, I used to go out to Riverside and watch these cars run. Never thought we'd have them here on the streets of Long Beach. But I'll tell you what, when they fire up, that sound is going to resonate throughout.
It's going to shake the ground.
South side of Long Beach, I'm telling you.
So it was people like me who have the love of the car and love to preserve them. And so we brought them out and we put on a great show, and everybody was happy about it. I am very delighted to have done it. A very good friend of mine used to have LAD written on the side of his car, and I asked him one time, what does it mean? He said, living a dream. And that's what I've been doing for 40 years, living a dream.
George Fulmer is our guest this weekend. He's a local Southern California guy, spent most of his life in Southern California. And George, I always characterize him as America's champion.
In '72, I was called in when Mark got hurt to drive the 917, and that was a big step because it was a very difficult car to get to learn to drive. And I went in cold. Didn't know had never seen the car, never seen the track.
When you think about the 917-10, it was a short wheelbase car, and it was really the first car with aerodynamics opening up the tops of the tires and a huge wing on the rear. And to me, the turbocharger, the ability to have the wastegate calibration, to be able to step on the gas and get acceleration, that was really the first real race car that had that type of technology.
And we ran at Atlanta and won the race, so things got better.
Being a guest at the Grand Prix Association of Long Beach is all of the IndyCar guys come out. And yesterday we got to spend a little bit of time with Roger Penske, but boy, multiple mechanics from IndyCar came over that worked on these cars in period. But it's pretty cool having the captain come over and look at two of his cars.
When I think about Can-Am, I think about those orange McLarens and how dominant they were with those big Chevy V8s. And then we had the opportunity with the 917-10s to come out with the first turbocharged, really Porsche engine. And then we just catapulted into the lead when we had the 917-30. And of course, George Fulmer taking over from Mark when he got hurt. It was a great way to have two cars that could run up front every weekend.